Hi, my name is Anthony, and in this video, I'm going to be showing you how I made these beautiful handcrafted ceramic smoking pipes from what is basically mud or liquid clay. The first step is to collect my molds. I currently have 6 different shapes. I purchased these molds online, but you can make your own molds at home. The next step is to secure the 2 halves of each mold together using rubber bands. These molds are made of plaster, which absorbs water. Plaster's ability to absorb water is very important in this process. After preparing the molds, I get the liquid clay ready to pour into the molds. It's important to mix the liquid clay very well, and I pre-mix this bucket before filming this shot. After mixing the clay, I pull a small amount out of the bucket and strain it through a mesh screen to remove any sand or other contaminants that might be in the liquid clay. I sealed the smaller bucket and realized I forgot to plug up the vent holes in the molds. I use silicone to plug the holes because it's washable and reusable. I also wrap the rubber bands around the plug to stop it from popping out and leaking clay everywhere when the mold is full. Now it's time to start filling the molds. I fill the mold all the way to the top and slap the mold with a spatula to get rid of any air bubbles that might be stuck inside the mold. After that, I add a tiny funnel to the top of the mold and fill it with more liquid clay. While the liquid clay sits inside the mold, the plaster is sucking the water out of the clay and a layer of clay is sticking to the walls of the mold. The extra clay in the funnel keeps the mold full at all times, so I don't have to keep refilling it. After about 13 minutes, it's time to empty the molds. I poke a hole in the vent to allow air inside while the mold is being emptied. If a vacuum forms inside the mold, it'll suck the clay off the walls of the mold and ruin the pipe. I carefully pour the extra clay out and leave the molds aside for 45 minutes so the plaster can suck out more moisture from the clay still inside the mold. Next is the demolding process. I softly karate chop the molds to loosen them so I can pull them apart and reveal the new smoking pipe inside. After letting the clay dry to leather hard, I have to start cleaning up the visible seams on the pipe. I use an X-Acto knife to carefully scrape off any extra clay and then poke holes for the mouthpiece, the bowl, and the carb of the pipe. Here is a closer look at the clay pipes when they are ready to be bisque fired. After getting my pipes bisque fired at my favorite clay studio, it's time to glaze the pipes. For this batch, I am dip glazing half the pipes in black and half of them in white. The glaze I'm using is food safe and non-toxic. This is the black glaze. I glaze the inside of the pipes so they can be cleaned and sanitized properly. The glaze forms a layer of glass over the clay and seals it, just like the glaze inside your ceramic coffee mug. When glazing clay, it is important to constantly stir the glaze because the particles inside the glaze are very heavy and will quickly sink to the bottom of the bucket. Here is a closer look at the pipes dipped in black glaze. Now it's time for the white glaze. Since the clay is white and the glaze is white, it's a little harder to tell when the glaze is dried. I had trouble with this pipe and accidentally dropped it in the bucket. Whoops, don't panic. Here is a closer look at the pipes dipped in white glaze. Now comes the fun part. Painting the pipes. I'm starting out with a blue glaze on a white base. And here's what it looks like after glaze firing. Next is red on a black base. Here's what it looks like after glaze firing. Next is light blue on a white base. Here's what it looks like after glaze firing. This pipe looks like the summer sky to me. Next is called Rosy Posy on a black base. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be pink or purple, but it looks nice. Here's what it looks like after glaze firing. Since the pipes are fully glazed, I have to balance them on these kiln stilts when they are fired in the kiln. Because of this, all my pipes are left with these tiny bumps on the bottom. So my last step is to grind down these bumps with my Dremel. I usually wear a mask and do this outside, but I'm just doing this one pipe for the video. After all my hard work, I'm left with my latest batch of ceramic smoking pipes. I'm always experimenting with different techniques and color combinations, as you can see here, and will be filming more of my painting sessions soon. Thanks for watching.